Hi everyone, so today I'm going to be going over our objective 1, which focuses on how we use scatter plots to better determine and interpret our values that we have. So if we go ahead and recall back to our previous modules, we were focused on correlation. So that's when we had our values, but we used them and we interpreted them as equals to each other, versus in this module we focus on regression. So regression, with that we can see one value being your independent value, and that's your x, versus your y value, which can be harder to find, and it's your dependent value, and that's your y. So in things like linear regression, which is what we focused on, you would use that x value to determine or predict your y value. So you can use this in examples and times when you'll have something that's more accessible and easier to you, like the mile run test, and something that's harder to actually determine and put into action, which would be like your VO2 max test. So we would use that mile test and results and data to better predict your dependent values, which is your VO2 max test. Another way that it's useful to interpret these values is when we're looking at our regression equation. So remember, it's y is equal to your slope times x plus c. So that's like your interpretive value, your slope, your y-intercept, and all of that stuff is going to be visualized on the plot and on the graph. Another thing that you can see on there that's displayed on there is your chance of error. So like your regression error. Remember, it's going to be your interpreted or predicted value of y versus the actual value of y. And so we can see that. So when you have your line on your scatter plot, the dots or your data points, they may be on the line, and so that means like your prediction was good. But if they aren't, then that's your regression error, and that's what you try to minimize. And yeah, overall that's the purpose and the use and how we interpret scatter plots.